Imagine a forgotten manuscript, resting in the shadows of a dimly lit library, untouched for centuries. Its pages, yellowed and fragile, tell stories that challenge the very foundations of beliefs passed down for generations. These stories have remained hidden, buried beneath layers of tradition, waiting for the right moment to emerge. The words etched on these delicate sheets hold the power to change everything, revealing a side of history carefully tucked away, the shadow side of the family of Jesus. For more than 2 millennia, the narrative of Jesus has remained consistent. The story depicts a solitary, serene, and wise figure who teaches, heals, and makes sacrifices. The story paints a picture of a quiet life, beginning in a stable and ending on a cross. The world accepted this story because it seemed complete. He was a man without distractions, focused solely on his divine mission. The manuscript reveals that Jesus did not walk his path in isolation. His footsteps echoed alongside those of brothers and sisters. His childhood home was not a silent sanctuary, but a lively, noisy household filled with laughter, arguments, and ordinary struggles. A family surrounded him, a family whose names and roles have been forgotten or deliberately erased. These relatives weren't mere bystanders. They lived, loved, and fought alongside him. They shared his victories, witnessed his suffering, and may have played pivotal roles in shaping the beliefs that would change the world. The house in which Jesus grew up would have been a place of warmth and complexity. Children's voices filled the air, each sibling carving out a space for themselves. Santiago, the eldest, carried the responsibilities and privileges that came with being the firstborn. Joseph, Simon, and Judas were brothers, whose lives intertwined with Jesus in ways that history has chosen not to remember. Sisters like Salome and Miriam, whose stories were silenced despite their significance. Each member of this family carried ambitions, doubts, and hopes. Their lives were not untouched by jealousy or misunderstanding. The presence of siblings meant rivalry and competition. In a family where one child was believed to be destined for greatness, the atmosphere could never have been simple. This family was more than ordinary. The manuscript uncovers that they were descendants of a royal bloodline, the very roots of Jesus' lineage traced back to a powerful dynasty in Jewish history. This connection brought both privilege and danger. It meant that this family had influence. Their choices, alliances, and betrayals had consequences that reached far beyond their household. The brothers, with names echoing Israel's royal and military heroes, carried the weight of a legacy that influenced their relationships with each other and with Jesus. Joseph, the father figure who vanishes mysteriously from the records after Jesus' childhood, adds another layer to this story. His absence left a vacuum. The family would have faced uncertainty and hardship. In a society where lineage and inheritance dictated survival, losing the patriarch meant instability. Santiago, as the eldest, would have been expected to step into his father's role, a responsibility that may have deepened the divide between him and Jesus. The manuscript suggests that these family dynamics were complex, marked by the everyday struggles of leadership, duty, and personal ambition. The discovery also challenges the traditional understanding of the Virgin Mary's life. History paints her as a quiet, obedient figure, but this manuscript hints at a woman shaped by hardship and resilience. In first-century Jewish society, questions about lineage and legitimacy could cast long shadows. Rumors and suspicions could isolate families. The presence of siblings with different names, tied to different historical and cultural symbols, suggests a blended family, each child representing different aspects of the past and future of their people. Remember to join our community by subscribing to this channel. As the story unfolds, it becomes clear that this family did not fade into obscurity after Jesus' death. They remained central figures in the early Christian movement. Santiago, believed by some to have led the early church in Jerusalem, became a powerful force in shaping the future of Christianity. The sisters, often overlooked, may have been present at critical moments, their contributions hidden but essential. This family was a dynasty, one that risked everything to carry forward a mission that began in their own home. Through the work of genealogists, historians, and forensic scientists, faces begin to emerge from the shadows. By combining ancient skulls with modern technology, researchers have reconstructed what the family of Jesus might have looked like. The faces that appear are not the delicate, fair-skinned images seen in paintings. They are rugged, strong, and deeply human. Faces shaped by the Son of Galilee, marked by the hardships and hopes of their time. This is a story of bloodlines and legacies, of a family whose influence stretched far beyond their small home in Nazareth. Their ambitions, beliefs, and conflicts helped shape one of the most powerful movements in history. The manuscript lays bare the truth. Jesus' story was never just his own. It was the story of a family, complex, flawed, and unforgettable. The hidden story begins with a startling revelation. Jesus was not the only child. Contrary to the traditional belief that portrays him as an only son, recent genealogical evidence suggests he had brothers, sisters, and extended family who played crucial roles in his life. This challenges the long-accepted version depicted in the Gospels. The family dynamics were far from simple. Jesus' siblings were not just passive observers. They were integral, active participants in his journey. Some supported him, while others doubted him, and their relationships shaped the story that would change the world. Tony Burrows, one of the most respected genealogists in the United States, embarked on a mission to uncover these long-hidden connections. Over 20 years of dedication led him to unearth the truth buried under layers of time and tradition. His investigation revealed that Jesus' family descended from a powerful royal dynasty in Jewish history, a lineage with deep political and spiritual influence. This connection had profound implications. Families tied to such legacies were often entangled in dangerous power plays, and this family was no exception. By traveling through 3 continents, from the deserts of Judea to European libraries, Tony pieced together fragments of evidence. One critical discovery was the Proto-Gospel of James, unearthed in Egypt in 1902. This ancient text disclosed details about Jesus' sisters, including Salome, a figure whose significance had been overshadowed for centuries. The Proto-Gospel provided chilling insights, describing family interactions during Jesus' birth and hinting at relationships that history had erased. Accepting that Jesus came from a large, complex family means rethinking fundamental aspects of Christian history. The traditional portrayal of a solitary figure, divinely isolated from human complexities, no longer holds. This family, with its hidden alliances and rivalries, influenced not only Jesus' personal journey, but also the formation of early Christianity. Moreover, forensic technology combined with ancient skull analysis in Galilee has reconstructed what first-century Jewish families looked like. These reconstructions reveal faces starkly different from the idealized images seen in Western art. The real family of Jesus had rugged features shaped by the harsh climate and social conditions of their time, faces of real people who lived, loved, and struggled. One such critical discovery is the Gospel of Mark, the oldest of the 4 canonical Gospels, written around 70 CE. Unlike the later texts, Mark mentions Jesus' siblings, James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas. This reference hints at a reality far removed from the image of an isolated divine figure. Instead, it suggests a family with diverse personalities and beliefs, each playing a role in the unfolding story of early Christianity. Tony Burrows' research further bridges this divide. His work, spanning over 2 decades, focuses on reconstructing the genealogical roots of Jesus' family. Burrows discovered that Jesus' family lineage traced back to a royal dynasty which carried profound political and religious significance in first-century Judea. Comprehending this lineage is crucial, as it implies that not only divine purpose, but also political pressures and familial responsibilities shaped Jesus' life. The presence of siblings and extended family members added layers of complexity, making his journey both divine and profoundly human. The Proto-Gospel of James, dating back to the 2nd century, offers detailed accounts of Mary's life and Jesus' early years. This text suggests that Mary had children after Jesus, challenging the doctrine of her perpetual virginity. Such claims shake foundational beliefs, especially within denominations that hold this doctrine as sacred. The tension between these historical records and theological teachings highlights the fragile boundary where faith and evidence intersect. Archaeological findings also contribute significantly to this discussion. In Tel Aviv, ossuaries, stone boxes used to store human remains, have been discovered, bearing inscriptions of names common during Jesus' time, including Miriam and Joseph. These names align with those mentioned in historical texts, providing tangible proof of familial structures in 1st century Judea. Such evidence forces historians and theologians alike to re-evaluate assumptions about the Holy Family, considering the possibility that Jesus' upbringing was deeply influenced by everyday family interactions. The fear triggered by these discoveries stems from their potential to reshape deeply held beliefs. Accepting that Jesus had siblings, for instance, alters perceptions of his divine nature. It humanizes him, placing him within the context of a typical family, complete with rivalries, support systems, and complex dynamics. Matthew's version of Jesus' family tree begins with Abraham, the father of the Jewish people. Abraham's story is one of faith and promises. Long ago, God promised Abraham that his descendants would become a great nation. By starting the genealogy with Abraham, Matthew shows that Jesus is part of this special promise. Matthew's genealogy traces the family line all the way down to Joseph, who was married to Mary, Jesus' mother. This connection is important because it shows that Jesus belonged to the Jewish people, sharing their history, traditions, and hopes. But there's something even more special about this family line. It highlights the royal blood running through Jesus' family. At the heart of Matthew's genealogy is King David, the most beloved king of Israel. David was known for his courage, leadership, and deep relationship with God. God made another important promise to David, that one of his descendants would reign as king forever. By connecting Jesus to David, Matthew tells readers that Jesus is the rightful heir to David's throne, a king in the truest sense. But Matthew's list doesn't just include kings and heroes, it also includes people with complicated stories. For example, Rahab, a woman known for helping Israel's spies, and Ruth, a woman from a foreign land who showed great loyalty. These stories remind us that Jesus' family line included people from all walks of life, some outsiders, some flawed, but all part of God's plan. This shows that Jesus came for everyone, no matter where they come from or what their story is. Are you enjoying the story? Support our channel by clicking the subscribe button. Interestingly, Matthew organizes the genealogy into 3 sets of 14 generations, from Abraham to David, from David to the exile in Babylon, and from the exile to Jesus. This structure highlights key moments in Israel's history, times of great promise, tragic loss, and hopeful restoration. By doing this, Matthew shows how Jesus completes the story that began with Abraham and David. Jesus represents the fulfillment of God's promises and the hope of a new beginning. While Matthew starts the story with Abraham, Luke takes a different approach. Luke's genealogy begins with Jesus and traces the family line all the way back to Adam, the first human being. This version tells a broader story, one that connects Jesus not just to the Jewish people but to all of humanity. By linking Jesus to Adam, Luke emphasizes that Jesus came for everyone, everywhere. Adam represents all of humanity, and this connection shows that Jesus' life and mission were meant for the whole world. It's a powerful reminder that no one is left out of the story. Jesus' message of love, forgiveness, and hope belongs to everyone. Luke's genealogy is also believed to represent a different side of Jesus' family. While Matthew traces the legal lineage through Joseph, Luke's version might represent Mary's family line or an alternative legal line connected to Joseph. Luke could demonstrate Jesus' biological connection to David and Abraham through Mary's family line. In Jewish tradition, family lines were typically traced through the father, but Luke's genealogy might be highlighting Mary's role in fulfilling the promise of a coming Savior. Another interesting detail is that Luke connects Jesus not just to David but specifically through David's son Nathan, instead of Solomon, who appears in Matthew's list. This choice may reflect Luke's focus on Jesus as a humble and compassionate leader, emphasizing his connection to ordinary people rather than royal power. Luke also ends the genealogy by describing Adam as the Son of God. This subtle detail hints at Jesus' unique relationship with God. While Adam represents the beginning of humanity, Jesus represents a new beginning, a chance for humanity to be restored and reconnected with God. Luke presents Jesus as the one who came to heal the brokenness that began with Adam's story. Both genealogies tell a story of connection. Matthew's version emphasizes Jesus' role as the promised king of Israel, fulfilling God's promises to Abraham and David. It shows Jesus fits into the hopes and dreams of the Jewish people, bringing their story to completion. Luke's version, on the other hand, stretches the story back to the very beginning of humanity, reminding us that Jesus came for all people. This version paints Jesus as the Savior, not just of one nation, but of the whole world. It's a story of unity, reminding us that we are all connected, all part of the same family tree. These genealogies are more than lists of names. They are stories of faith, redemption, and hope. They remind us that Jesus' story is rooted in the lives of real people with their own struggles, successes, and failures. They show that Jesus' life wasn't a sudden interruption in history, but the fulfillment of a story that had been unfolding for generations. By understanding Jesus' family tree, we gain a deeper appreciation of his role in history. We see how he brings together promises made long ago, offering hope not only to a single nation, but to the entire world. The family tree of Jesus reminds us that everyone has a place in this story, no matter where they come from, who they are, or what their past holds. The journey through Jesus' family history reveals a story rich in heritage, complexity, and purpose. What began as a simple exploration of genealogies evolved into a profound understanding of the world that shaped one of history's most influential figures. The stories of ancestors, the cultural dynamics of Judea, and the delicate balance between faith and historical fact paint a vivid picture of a man deeply connected to his roots and humanity as a whole. Tracing Jesus' lineage through Matthew's Gospel unveils a royal descent filled with figures of power, promise, and redemption. The path from Abraham to King David and ultimately to Joseph highlights a lineage marked by faithfulness and divine covenant. It emphasizes Jesus' role as the fulfillment of a promise made to generations before him, a king destined not for earthly rule, but for a spiritual kingdom that transcends time. This family tree tells a story of hope, reminding us that greatness can arise from unexpected places, from lives touched by both triumph and failure. If you're enjoying this journey, click the Super Thanks button. By supporting the content, you're helping me keep uncovering more mysterious stories and sharing them with you. Luke's genealogy expands this story, stretching the family line back to Adam, the first human being. This perspective offers a universal connection, making Jesus' story relevant to all of humanity. His role is no longer confined to a single nation or people, but extends to every individual, regardless of background or history. The connection to Adam symbolizes a new beginning for humanity, a restoration of the relationship between creation and the Creator. Luke's account is a testament to inclusion, reminding us that Jesus came to bridge divides and offer redemption to all. These genealogies are more than historical records. They are profound statements of identity and mission. The names listed represent real people, each with stories of courage, faith, doubt, and redemption. They remind us that history is not made by perfect individuals, but by those who persist through imperfection. Each generation contributed to a story larger than themselves, culminating in a figure who would change the course of history. This story challenges us to see our own lives as part of a greater story, where every decision and relationship plays a role in shaping the future. Understanding the cultural context adds another layer of depth. The customs, traditions, and social expectations of first-century Judea influenced how Jesus' message was received and understood. His teachings on love, forgiveness, and justice were revolutionary because they addressed the deepest needs and aspirations of his community. They resonated because they were rooted in shared experiences and cultural realities. The family dynamics, marked by relationships with siblings, parents, and extended family, provided a foundation for his ministry and message. The intersection of faith and historical evidence further enriches this story. While faith gives meaning to the spiritual significance of Jesus' life, historical evidence grounds his story in reality. The blending of these perspectives offers a fuller understanding, allowing us to appreciate the divine within the human experience. It shows that the sacred and the ordinary are not separate, but interconnected, each revealing aspects of a deeper truth. Jesus' family tree reminds us that our own stories are connected to a larger whole. The relationships we build, the challenges we face, and the values we uphold contribute to a legacy that extends beyond our lifetime. This understanding calls us to live with intention, recognizing the impact of our actions and the significance of our place in history. Thanks for watching. Join our community by subscribing to this channel. Until the next video.